the relatives or nephew of Brigadier General Florendo, Mr. Carlo Florendo, sir. The members of the prosecution in Police Regional Office 1, members of the command group, Police Colonel Cesar R. Pasiwen, our DRDO, Police Colonel Andre Dizon, our Chief Regional Staff, different regional staff from R1 to R10, the Chief of the Regional Support Units, our RESPO, our Regional Pastoral Officer, Father Ocampo, PCOs, PNCOs, NUPs, ladies and gentlemen, na imbangag sapa kada tayo amin. On behalf of the officers, men and women of Police Regional Office 1, let me extend my warmest welcome to everyone as we celebrate today the 30th PNP Foundation Day Celebration, anchored with the theme, PNP at 30, Kakampi mo laban sa pandemya, illegal na droga, korupsyon at terorismo. Let me convey my profound gratitude to our guest of honor and speaker, who will be formally introduced later, who is also member of the Regional Advisory Regional Appellate Board, for granting our request to grace this occasion. Isang malaking karangalan po sa Police Regional Office 1 ang makapiling namin kayo sa pagdiriwang na ito. For 30 years, our organization has been through many changes and even challenges that made it what it is today, a capable, effective, and credible police service. But we are not just counting the years of providing public service, but also increasing and improving the quality of our services by ensuring that they will provide additional value to the overall effort of our government. Today's celebration gives us the opportunity to offer the appropriate respect to our past and modern heroes and appreciate the achievements of the PNP organization. Despite rewarding yet challenging years, our PNP organization continually grows as a resilient police force true to the standards of service, honor, and justice. Ang ating mga pulis ay tunay na mga bayaning tagapamayapa. We should also remember the heroism of Brigadier General Oscar M. Florendo, an outstanding military officer from La Union who was killed in Tugigaraw, Cagayan on March 14, 1990 while on a peace mission. So ladies and gentlemen, this year is so defining and significant as we constantly strive as a pandemic resilient police force. For now, we are seriously keeping our motto, to serve and protect the public, as we together bring into greater heights our organization, the Philippine National Police. Once again, welcome to the 30th PNP Foundation Day Celebration. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat.
Thank you, sir, for that warm and welcoming message. This year, the 30th PNP Foundation anniversary is anchored with the theme PNP at 30, Kakampi mo laban sa pandemya, iligal na droga, korupsyon at terorismo. The celebration is highlighted by the presentation of medals to deserving PNP uniformed personnel who have rendered outstanding services.
Citation reads, Republic of the Philippines, National Police Commission, Philippine National Police, Police Regional Office 1, Brigadier General Oscar M. Florendo, Parian, City of San Fernando, La Union. Pursuant to PRO 1-GO-AW-2021-182 dated January 11, 2021, the Medalya ng Kasanayan is hereby awarded to Police Senior Master Sergeant Ramil Laureta Quiñones for their exemplary performance of duty in the successful conduct of anti-illegal drug buy-bust operation on December 17, 2020 that resulted in the arrest of Tony Oriente A. Fontanilla, 36 years old and a resident of Sitio Gasset, Barangay Manggaan, Santol, La Union. By command of Police Brigadier General Peralta, Official Andre P. Dizon, Police Colonel, Chief of Regional Staff. Signed, Reynaldo S. Ogay Jr., Police Colonel, Chief, Regional Personnel and Records Management Division.
May we request the Regional State Prosecutor Region 1, Prosecutor Nonato Cesar R. Rojas, to lead the presentation of awards, to be assisted by our Regional Director, Police Brigadier General Emmanuel B. Peralta, and members of the command group. First to receive the award, Police Senior Master Sergeant Ramil Laureta Quiñones. Next to receive the award, Police Senior Master Sergeant Ronald Lapitan Ordinado will also receive the said award.
Medalya ng Papuri is hereby awarded to Police Major Roldan Opila Suitos for his exemplary performance of duty as team leader and members in the successful service of warrant of arrest on October 23, 2020 that resulted in the arrest of Rodel Aquino E. Aiko, 44 years old, listed as rank number 5 regional priority target on illegal drugs under National Copland Crystal Smoke of RPDEU 1. With standing warrant of arrest for violation of Section 11 of RA 9165 and the resident of Barangay Quezon, Cabugao, Ilocos Sur. Same award is presented to Police Senior Master Sergeant Renny Boy Tubon Tubon. Police Staff Sergeant Ramses Sabugo Saunil will also receive the same award.
Next award, Medalya ng Papuri is hereby awarded to Police Major Judy Baldemar Calica for their exemplary performance of duty as team leader and members in the successful implementation of search warrant on January 25, 2021 that resulted in the arrest of Juvie Salignan Y. Langpang, 44 years old, regional level target of PDEA RO1. Under Copland Javaya, leader of the Saligan Drug Group and HBI top priority target, and Jonah Hoque Y. Saladas, 29 years old, both residents of Barangay Natividad, Nagilian, La Union.
Same medallia is hereby awarded to Police Lieutenant Colonel Reynaldo Lacasandille Lizardo. Same medalya ng papuri is hereby awarded to Police Corporal Mark Camille Estuesta Irese. Certificate of Appreciation is also presented to the individual in grateful appreciation for their invaluable contribution to PNP organization. Republic of the Philippines National Police Commission, Philippine National Police, Police Regional Office 1, Brigadier General Oscar M. Florendo, Parian City of San Fernando, La Union. Certificate of Appreciation is presented to Mr. Wilbert L. Palar, KK. Regional President, Ilocos Norte, and grateful appreciation for his invaluable support to the government efforts on anti-illegal drugs and anti-terrorism and for participating in various programs of the Philippine National Police.
Thank you very much, sir. Once again, congratulations to all the awardees. Please be seated. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, the Regional Director, Police Regional Office 1, Police Brigadier General Emmanuel V. Peralta will now introduce our guest of honor and speaker.
Good morning to everyone. Please allow me to introduce our guest of honor and speaker. It is with great pleasure and privilege that I introduce to you our guest of honor and speaker in today's celebration because he is the epitome of a public servant. He is a true-blooded Ilocano, having been born in Vigan City and spent his growing up years in San Vicente, Ilocos Sur. He is happily married and has 3 loving children. He finished both his degrees of Economics and Bachelor of Laws at San Beda College in Manila. He started his career in the Department of Justice when he was appointed as Prosecutor 2 at the Office of the Provincial Prosecutor of Ilocos Sur. From there, he rose from the ranks until he was appointed as the youngest Regional Prosecutor of the Regional Prosecution Office, San Fernando City, La Union, at the age of only 43. With nearly 30 years of experience, from being a field prosecutor tasked with conducting preliminary investigations and attending court hearings, to now having administrative supervision of almost 400 prosecutors and support staff of the entire Region 1 and the Cordillera Administrative Region. Under his able leadership and utmost commitment, the Regional Prosecution Office 1 has remained the consistent number 1 among all the regional prosecution offices of the entire Philippines in the speedy disposal and resolution of cases. Likewise, his stint as the Director of the National Bureau of Investigation was likewise exemplary. Being at the helm, he was responsible in directing the investigation and filing of numerous sensational cases. He also restored and transformed NBI into a dependable, premier, and trustworthy investigative agency in the whole country. Our guest of honor and speaker, together with his prosecutors, are the invaluable partners of our own organization, the Philippine National Police, in the case build-up, investigation, filing, and prosecuting of complaints against criminals. The PNP, as well as his office, shared the same goal to end local communist armed conflict as he actively leads the Regional Task Force to end local armed conflict in Region 1 and some parts of the Cordillera Administrative Region. Significantly, our guest of honor and speaker is also an active member of the NAPOLCOM Regional Appellate Board of Region 1, which decides with finality all appealed administrative cases by the People's Law Enforcement Board and Police Regional Directors. He is likewise a holder of career executive service eligibility with the rank of CESO 2. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome our guest of honor and speaker, Regional Prosecutor Nonatus Cesar Riotoc Roas.
Thank you very much. Please sit down. Allow me to take off my mask. Nasa open naman tayo, no? The newly installed Regional Director of Pro 1, Police Brigadier General Emmanuel B. Peralta, representative of the Florendo family, Carlo Florendo, sir. Deputy Regional Director for Administration and fellow RAB member, Police Brigadier General Randolph Y. Balonglong. Deputy Regional Director for Operations, Police Colonel Cesar R. Pasiwen. Chief of the Regional Staff, Police Colonel Andre P. Dizon. The regional staff from Region 1 to 10, and the chiefs of the regional support units, PMS Harold Nicolas of Respo, Chief NUPAS, NUP Ofelia de Maculangan, the awardees of the PNP, including Mr. Abdullah Sabri, Regional President of KKDAT, Mr. Wilbert L. Palar, and of course, the gallant men and women of PNP Pro 1, other distinguished guests. We also have, just handed to me now, Troop Commander, other distinguished guests, fellow workers in government, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I will give an order. Tikas, pahinga. Tikas! Ha! No, cut. Ha! The privilege is actually mine to be chosen as your guest of honor and speaker in this momentous celebration of the 30th Foundation Day of the Philippine National Police. Thank you very much. Foundation Day is a very special day. We get the chance to reflect not only on our beginnings, but more importantly, to assess our significant achievements since the inception of our PNP. And I can assure you, the PNP has much reason to celebrate the 30th year of its existence. Now, more than ever in its entire history as an institution, during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic, have we witnessed the tireless, unrelenting, dedicated service of the men and women comprising the police force of our country, including the men and women of 401. Despite all the threat of COVID-19 to the health and life of our forces, when all other private and government offices are closed, and in spite of the criticisms still heard by the public, our PNP remained open and steadfast in continuing its work amidst the pandemic, manning day in, day out the border checkpoints, enforcing the health and quarantine protocols, going after the criminals for close to 1 year now. Many people who were merely staying at home, doing nothing, have already been complaining of quarantine fatigue, clamoring to be allowed to go out of their homes. Yet, the untiring PNP men and women persisted, not stopping in their everyday work. In fact, the crooks remain crooks and found ways to violate the laws despite the pandemic. And in this, the PNP continued going after the criminals, the illegal drugs users and syndicates, the corrupt, the NPAs and the communist terror groups, among others. Indeed, the theme for this year's Foundation Celebration is very apt. PNP at 30, Kakampi mo, Laban sa Pandemya, Iligal na Droga, Kurapsyon at Terorismo. The PNP, just like the rest of our medical and other health frontrunners, are our heroes, our allies in fighting against the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, in fact, aside from their COVID-19 related works, they continue to ensure peace and order in our community by staging anti-illegal drug activities and going after law offenders, the NPA, communist terror groups. Ladies and gentlemen of the PNP, Pro One, you deserve our salute and commendation. Well, in fact, not only the PNP is active and efficient. We all have seen how the different national government agencies, the LGUs, going out of their way to address these pressing issues. Wala po akong masabi. It's all there for everybody to see in Region 1. The governors, mayors, up to the barangay officials did their share together with the PNP in perspiring to fulfill their roles in addressing the COVID-19 pandemic, local communist armed conflict, including peace-building efforts and crime prevention. Notably, the crime rate decreased during the pandemic, di po ba? But make no mistake about it, the decrease is only temporary. With the easing of quarantine and travel restrictions and opening up of businesses, it is expected that the crime rate will steadily increase again. This is aggravated by the fact that still up to this day, despite the increasing number of motorcycles nowadays, the plate numbers of motorcycles are nowhere in sight. as the LTO backlog in producing license plates continues to balloon and remains so. Cases involving riding in tandem are unresolved due to lack of information on the license plates of motorcycles. This is one area where the PNP would have to address with priority and to remain vigilant and proactive in these challenges. We thus welcome Police Brigadier General Emmanuel B. Peralta as the new Pro 1 Regional Director, bringing with him his vast experience, exemplary performance, and impeccable record in management efficiency, and who I believe put much premium on police discipline, moral integrity, no-take policy, and of course, internal cleansing. I myself is a member of the Regional Appellate Board, or RAB, of Region 1 and have sustained penalties imposed by previous PNP regional directors as well as pleb on erring personnel after due process. Kasama po ako sa RAB, kasama po sa RAB ang ating Chairman Attorney Arnold Armina and the PNP representative who is here now, Police Brigadier General Randolph Y. Balonglong, in deciding on appeals filed by personnel dismissed from service or demoted in rank. The Regional Appellate Board, your Regional Appellate Board, is silently doing its work with utmost care in reviewing all evidence and ensuring the proper application of relevant laws and jurisprudence. Speaking of discipline and performance, law enforcement agencies like the PNP play a major role in the criminal justice system. When a crime is committed or an incident happens that may result or involve a crime, it happens and the police comes in, gather evidence, take sworn statements, and file case before the prosecutor's office. Question: is the case considered solved when the law enforcement agencies or the PNP files cases before the prosecutor's office? Is the case considered solved? It is a fact that at times, law enforcement agencies consider a case as solved or closed with the filing of the provisional charge before the prosecutor's office. Unfortunately, such a conclusion does not exist in our rules of criminal procedure, nor is the characterization found in our criminal law. There is no such thing. But the law enforcement agencies often consider it in their accomplishment report when it is filed with the prosecutor's office, regardless of the outcome of the filing. Similarly, when a prosecutor files a case in court after a preliminary investigation, he counts it too as an accomplishment, as the case is moved out of his hands and into the court docket. Accomplishment din daw po ng piskal yun pag na-file na yung kaso sa korte. Yet, after the lapse of years from the incident, the judge who will handle the case ultimately, unexpectedly, may acquit the accused and even cite police absence or incompetence, prosecutor neglect, or ignorance in the eventual dismissal of the case. And this is now without impact to the accomplishments of the PNP or the prosecutors. Hindi po ba? The accomplishments, so-called accomplishments, went for naught. Why? Because during trial, na-acquit naman po yung pinailan ng kaso. That is why I have always advocated in my speeches and lectures for law enforcement agencies. Narinig na rin po ito ng iba sa atin. To be success-oriented. Both law enforcement agencies as well as the prosecutors should look at the bigger picture instead of a compartmentalized function by the PNP and then the prosecutors. All of us should look at the bigger picture of its success later on, because that is where justice would actually be achieved. Hindi po ba? Thus, time and again, I have reminded law enforcement agencies to be careful in case build-up. I-avoid po natin yung mabilisan para ma-file yung kaso sa piskalya. Para meron po tayong sort of an accomplishment. No? Let's look at the bigger picture. Dapat ang idea, when we file cases before the prosecutor's office, is to achieve justice. Ano bang trabaho natin? Both tayo, partners tayo PNP and the prosecutors. Hindi po ba to put the bad guys in jail? That is the success that we are looking after. That is supposed to be the picture that we want. Yung ultimately, ma-convict yung accused. Di po ba? Maniwala po tayo. Let's believe in our cases. Because if we file cases just for the sake of filing, where is our commitment? Where is the commitment of our organization? Where is our personal commitment to help administer justice and help in the peace and order efforts of government? Medyo nawawala because our accomplishment is solely directed on the number of cases we file before the prosecutor's office. Alam ko po yan because I myself was part of the law enforcement agencies. Dati po rin po ako sa NBI. And that during that time, we filed many big cases, and believe me, we exerted so much efforts in case build-up. I tell my people then to make sure na yung mga kaso na ipa-file namin sa court will stand scrutiny not only of the prosecutor but also by the judge. There were times when walang tulugan kami NBI director na nga ako, pero pati ako kasama sa case build-up. Why? Because, you know, pag may nangyaring insidente or there is an investigation, we assign that to the field, to our field people. And when the field people scattered around the country can file cases by themselves. But the big ones, or those in the NCR, dadaan mo na yan sa chief legal ng NBI. So, dadalhin sa chief legal scrutinize, draft the filing of the case in the prosecutor's office. That's akin. So when I was there, I reviewed everything. We used to file cases distinct. And believe me, walang tulugan. Sometimes 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, we're still up preparing our cases. And sometimes my security people tulog na po sila. Yung iba nandito eh. And because we have to urgently act on these cases, minsan inaabot talaga kami ng umaga. So that pag natapos ko, dadaling ko ulit sa legal, which is also in the same building, although different floors. Pag dala-dala ko yung records, I see that my people, some of them are already sleeping. So I have to tiptoe, dahan-dahan, para dadalhin sa legal. So I am by myself going to the legal division who goes over it again, returns it to me, and then we file. Well, what I can say is that the results naman bore fruit. In fact, when I was there, the prosecutor's office usually sustained the charges that we file. And now we've been seeing some convictions of the cases we filed before, and it's on record. If ever the prosecutor dismisses your case, okay? Minsan ganun eh. It happens. Mag-file tayo ng kaso, di-dismissin ng prosecutor or fiscal for insufficiency of evidence. Tanggap natin. You know, in my 30 years of experience as a prosecutor and 20 years as a regional director, 20 years na po ako na regional director, so I know how it is sa field. Prosecutor din po ako dati sa field, and how I'm managing my prosecutors. Sometimes, pag dinismiss ng piskalya at binalik yung kaso sa law enforcement agencies, it stops there. So, probably, the PNP management of Pro 1 can look into it. It stops there. Binalik ng piskal eh. Insufficiency of evidence. You know, ladies and gentlemen, pag na-dismiss yung kaso nyo, kasi naniniwala naman kayo sa kaso nyo when you file it, di ba? Eh, wag po kayong tumigil. Dagdagan nyo po ng ebidensya kung ano yung kailangan, and then refile it again. You know why? You know why? That will drive home the message to the criminals that we are really intent on doing our work correctly, and that we are really intent on going after them. Secondly, and worse, pag dinismiss at wala po tayong ginawa, magkakaroon tuloy ng impression. Eh, ang pinail naman talaga na kaso, mahina eh. These are impressions. I'm just talking from experience. Mahina naman talaga yung kaso eh, na pinail. Kaya dinismiss. And the law enforcement agencies knew that. Tingnan mo, wala silang ginawa. I think the old-timers here know this reality. That is why it is very important na aside from filing credible cases which you believe in, pag dinismiss, as much as possible, unless it is really a hopeless case. Pero bakit mo final in the first place? Support it with evidence and then refile it again. I think that's the better way of handling our cases. That's the better way of doing our case build-up and filing our cases in court. Okay? Alam niyo po, gaya yung sinabi ko kanina, pagka nag-craft po tayo ng kaso, craft it in such a way, not because this is an accomplishment by itself when we file it, but because this case that we file will result in conviction. Look further. Huwag lang yung masustain ng posturya, but also makonvict yung accused in court. I think this is the bigger picture that all of us, including prosecutors, I've been telling this to my prosecutors also. Make sure that when you file cases, masusustain naman yan sa korte in conviction. You know why? Another reason why. You know, instead of deterring criminals, first, pagka hindi natin nilifile. Secondly, pag na-dismiss yung kaso sa piskalya. Thirdly, pagka na-quit yung accused sa court. You know, it will not deter crime. Instead, it will encourage it. Why? Kasi nakikita nila na wala naman nangyayari sa mga kaso natin na pinafile. Puro dismiss, puro acquit. We do not want that. Let's let's have a position or outlook where our cases are complete with evidence so that it will be able to sustain the conviction in court. Ang tinatawag po dyan, success rate. Lahat po tayo dapat yun ang focus. Okay? And then, na-file na yung kaso sa korte. Magte-testify ngayon yung mamang pulis na nagpirma doon sa statement niya. We have seen also through the years na pag tinawag yung listed witnesses, yung pumirma ng affidavit, mamang pulis, basahin niyo po yung affidavit niyo at magte-testify kayo tungkol dyan. Minsan, it happens. Sir, hindi ko po alam yan eh. Bakit hindi mo alam? Nandito yung affidavit of arrest nyo. Tapos very detailed yung pagkaka-narrate nyo, including how the object evidence was taken, saan nakita, etc. Nakapirma ka dito. Sir, hindi ko po alam yan eh. Bakit hindi mo alam? Sir, perimeter guard lang ako noon eh. You see. There goes our case. I mean, kasama sa case build-up are the accuracy then of the statements natin. Make sure na yung mga pumirma doon knows really what that affidavit is all about and will be able to testify in court about it with clarity. Kasi diyan tayo dinadali lagi mga akusado eh. No? Gigisahin yung operatives, etc. Gigisahin na naman yung isa, affidavit. Kumisan, iba-iba or conflicting yung mga sinasabi. There we are. Talo. And like I said, this will embolden more the criminals in doing their nefarious activities. On the contrary, marami din naman ng mga kaso na nagsasucceed where the accused are convicted because of good testimony ng ating mga kapulisan. Marami din po yan. Marami yan. And to which we give our salute, recognition, and commendation. Marami po rin yan. What's my point? My point is that maybe the PNP leadership may look into how these cases are being handled. Kung may problema, kung meron hindi nag-appear, pwede naman mag-appear. Nagbigay ng statement contrary to the affidavit, actionan po natin yon. Natural. I think that's what is being done din naman. Especially sa drug cases, hindi po ba? Pero on the other hand, I don't know if it happens. Pag ang testimony naman ng police leads to a conviction, probably a commendation or, di ba? A recognition or a reward is also in place. Not only in the field where operations are being conducted, but also when policeman testifies and which testimony, crucial at it was, lead to conviction. Hindi po ba? Baka po pwede rin natin makita ito, although I don't know if we are already doing this. Kasi sa ibang department, sa prosecutor's office, even NGOs, recognize the successful testimonies of policemen. So siguro, let's make that also as a policy. That aside from the awards that we give for performance sa field, we also give credit to those policemen who successfully testified with accuracy that led to the conviction. Finally, dito sa kaso, probably when we file significant cases or big cases, let's monitor these cases. I don't know how the system could be made, but I think there are cases na minomonitor naman talaga ng kapulisan. No? Monitor in such a case that hindi lang tinitignan kung ano nangyari for the day, but kung malaki yung kaso, drug cases, corruption, etc. But better yet, maglagay po tayo ng observer doon sa court to see how our policemen really perform. Finally, another finally. Kung meron pong kaso na monitored natin na magte-testify yung mga kapulisan natin, make sure na present po sila on that day they are supposed to testify. As much as possible, huwag po natin silang ilipat. I believe there is a directive also from the national office about this, but sometimes when we ask for the witnesses na law enforcers, bakit wala, nalipat daw. So probably that has also ensured that for our cases to be successful, let's see to it na ang witnesses natin na police magte-testify po sa court on that day. Okay? According to one article written by a former Assistant Secretary of the DOJ, ito is a relationship ng police, piskalya, police at piskalya. Unique kasi ang relationship natin. I will go to that. The crux of the problem is our current criminal justice system that allows and encourages agencies to think and act independently of each other. Hindi mo ba? May sariling trabaho ang kapulisan, may sariling trabaho yung piskalya, or in silos. Silos, apparently without a common objective. This is according to an article. No? That is seeing that justice be done correctly for all parties. He added that the Philippines is perhaps the only country in the world that has set up a barricade between police investigator and the investigating prosecutor for them not to work together but apart. I think those of you who knows or have seen how the justice system works in other countries, magkasama naman po talaga yung prosecutor or district attorney with the law enforcement agencies. Hindi po, hindi guys sa Pilipinas, medyo compartmentalized tayo because that is our law, that is our mandate. That's why, there are times na final nyo ng kapulisan, di-dismiss ng piskalya. Okay? The police are experts in scene of the crime investigations but are not in legal technicalities. Correct. The prosecutors are trained in the law but are not expected to have evidence gathering and forensic skills. Correct. Yet both are executive officers and tasked to build up cases against the respondent and to protect the innocent at all times. The common sense solution is to make them work together seamlessly and effectively. The simple solution is to repeal the law. I agree. Kasi iba yung system po sa Pilipinas Dapat kasi magkakampi ang pulis tsaka piskal so that wala nang preliminary investigation. That is one level na nakaka-delay pa ng kaso Iimbestigahan ng kapulisan, iimbestigahan pa ng piskal, iimbestigahan pa ng court. Alright? In other countries, iisa po ang police at prosecutors. So that when they work together, they're embedded in each other. So that kasama sa case build-up, yung evidence gathering, forensics, at saka yung legal, magkakasama na yan. So that pag final yung case sa court, mas sigurado. That is why if you will see the records of other countries, ang taas ng success rate nila sa court. Conviction rate nila sa court. Well, comparatively than us. Why? Because of this setup. And this is what others are looking at. And I think it is also a system that our lawmakers should look into. And I will support that. Okay? Sinasabi natin lagi na magkasama ang police sa prosecution. Yet, there is this barrier, the legal barrier, na kailangan yung piskalya i-resolve kung tama yung penal ng police. And pwede niyang i-file sa court, pwede niyang i-dismiss. Dapat, ang nakikita nga ng iba is pagsamahin na yan. Para pag final yung case sa court, kompletos likados yan. Both sa evidence and sa legal. Mas mataas pa magiging success rate natin. Anyway, those are thoughts that are being raised right now. In fact, there were some moves before, and I hope that it will bear fruit during our lifetime, so to speak. Likewise, a priority of the PNP as well this entire bureaucracy is corruption. Maano tayo maano naman tayo, mapunta naman tayo sa corruption. Without the efforts of the Chief PNP, the Bolsinas, in making clear his anti-corruption measures, including the no-take policy, no sale of illegal drugs, and refusing money from illegal gambling operators. Hindi po ba? Sinabi po ng ating Chief PNP. I have learned that our new regional director, General Peralta, is also a disciplinarian and assures intensified intelligence-driven anti-illegal drug operations, revitalized internal cleansing program, and avoiding all forms of criminal activities. Well, including playing golf during office hours. I have read you say that, sir. And observing the tamang bihis policy. Tamang bihis policy. Andy Peralta is assured of the cooperation and assistance of the DOJ in this area. Lahat po tayo. We assure you of our cooperation. In fact, just recently, our President Rodrigo Roa Duterte created a mega multi-agency task force against corruption, kung naalala niyo po, late last year. Headed by Secretary of Justice Menardo Ibarra, which was tasked to investigate corruption in all government departments and file charges against officials involved. The President directed Secretary Ibarra through a memorandum to investigate allegations of corruption in all government offices and by all government people, including elected officials. So there you are. Kasama po ng kapulisan ang piskalya sa pagsugpo ng corruption. And in any way we can help, we will do it. The Secretary Guevara actually asked that the word mega be removed from the mega task force against corruption. Alam niyo naman po si Secretary Guevara, gusto niya na yung simple lang, task force against corruption. And he directed all involved in this to work silently without bluster, without the fanfare. Tahimik lang. So if you will notice, tahimik sila, but they have already filed, I think, several cases against hearing officials. And that is also our policy. The prosecutor's office works behind the scenes usually. Mga piskal natin. They work silently without much fanfare, without much advertisement. In addition, witnesses may be protected under the witness program of the government to ensure the unhampered testimony for the success of investigation and prosecution. Meron po tayong witness protection program, baka po nakakalimutan natin. Pag threaten po yung witnesses nyo, paki-refer po sa amin. Kasi nandyan lang po sila kawawa naman. Baka mamaya because of the case na nag-testify sila o nabay statement, alam nyo na, isipin po nung iba. Nandyan lang siya, pagka may nangyari dyan, ayos na yung kaso natin. So, huwag niyo pong kalimutan, may witness protection program po under the DOJ. So, i-refer nyo lang po sa amin and we will do the rest. Because we handle the witness protection program of Region 1 and CAR. Opo? On terrorism, the PNP is at the forefront in the fight against insurgency. The Region 1 PNP has so many accomplishments in this area. Marami na po. and has partnered with all stakeholders and clusters under EO70 on the whole of government approach in ending the local communist armed conflict. Similarly, the RTF1 Legal Cooperation Cluster, LCC, which we had, at kasama po kay Don, coordinates regularly with the PNP and AFP on communist terror groups or CTG cases, ensuring proper case build-up and prosecution in filed cases and in court. In this connection, the Legal Cooperation Cluster gave much emphasis to this mandate such that as early as February 11 of last year, before the pandemic, focal persons composed of prosecutors in each and every province were already designated to coordinate with law enforcement agencies on cases involving CTGs. Sirs, pagka yung mga kaso po tungkol sa mga CTG, etc., coordination on cases, whether in court or the prosecution office, meron po tayong mga designated focal persons ng mga prosecutors sa lahat ng mga opisina po natin. We will probably distribute a few copies para lang maalala ng mga iba na ito po yung mga prosecutors na pwedeng lapitan pagtulong sa case build-up. Like I said, tutulong sa case build-up, but pagdating sa preliminary investigation, okay, we will have to do our mandate. Again, that is, we can file or dismiss the case. That's how the system works. But, ang sinasabi ko lang, kahit sa case build-up, tumutulong po ang DOJ. Kahit na, well, in the legal parlance, hindi dapat. But just the same, we will do our share ensuring that the cases we file, whether on the local communist armed conflict or other cases, you can approach these persons and even the chiefs. If you will notice, hindi sila yung hepe kasi dadaan din sa kanila yung mga preliminary investigation But just the same, you can silently work, coordinate with them, and which we have been doing for a while now. In fact, starting tomorrow, February 9 and 10, tomorrow, our prosecutors will be joining DANICA in holding a criminal investigation seminar for Region 1 and CAR, PNP, and AFP personnel on procedures for case build-up, the Anti-Terrorism Act, preliminary investigation, rules of evidence, etc., upon the initiative of our NICA Regional Director for Region 1 and CAR, General Alden Juan C. Masadka. For us, your prosecutors and support staff of DOJ, once again assure that we are always one with you. We remain to be your staunchest partners and supporters in the continuing battle against illegal drugs, the corrupt, the NPAs, and other communist terrorist groups. EO70 has been a prime example showcasing the continuing solid partnership of the whole government, PNP, and our prosecutors in the DOJ as part of the whole of nation approach. In ending na po. In ending, kung mapapansin niyo po during the past year or so, amidst all the challenges, that the real sense of the word convergence stood out. If you will notice, there is now a stronger sense of cooperation and unity in the entire bureaucracy. Di po ba? I guess it is very true of the saying that sa oras ng peligro, nagbubuklod ang mga Pilipino. No matter how diverse our interests are, no matter how opposed our parties are, the Filipino unites as one in helping one another. So again, congratulations to the PNP on your 30th Foundation Day. Congratulations to everyone, the NGAs, the local chief executive, NGOs, and the men and women of Pro-1, led by Brigadier General Peralta. Sir, as we look forward to more fruitful years of working and coordinating with all of you, so that finally we can reach the true meaning and lasting peace, not only in our region, but in our beloved Philippines. Happy 30th PNP Anniversary Day. Mabuhay ang Philippine National Police. Mabuhay tayong lahat. Imbag na bigat, kada tayo amin ako.
Thank you, sir, for that meaningful and insightful message. Please be seated. We will now move to the presentation of plaque of appreciation to our guest of honor and speaker.
Republic of the Philippines National Police Commission, Philippine National Police, Police Regional Office 1, Camp Brigadier General Oscar M. Florendo Parian, City of San Fernando, La Union. Plaque of appreciation is presented to Donato Cesar R. Rojas, Regional Prosecutor, for sharing his expertise on a subject of mutual interest and inspiring the PNP personnel in his speech as the guest of honor and speaker during the 30th PNP Foundation Day Celebration with the theme PNP at 30, Kakampi mo laban sa pandemya, iligal na droga, korupsyon at terorismo, which contributed immeasurably to the attainment of the PNP mission. Given this 8th day of February 2021 at Police Regional Office 1, Camp Brigadier General Oscar M. Florendo, Parian, City of San Fernando, La Union. Signed, Police Brigadier General Emmanuel B. Peralta, Regional Director.
PRO 1 would also like to present a memento to our guest of honor and speaker, Kampilan. The Kampilan is a single-edged longsword traditionally carried by warriors of various ethnic groups in the Philippine archipelago. A notable wielder of the Kampilan was Datu Lapu-Lapu and his warriors who defeated the Spaniards and killed Portuguese explorers Ferdinand Magellan at the Battle of Mactan. A photo frame consists of photos taken during the wreath laying will also be given to our guest of honor and speaker. Tokens of appreciation will also be presented to Attorney George M. Florendo, represented by Sir Carlo F. Florendo, to be presented by our Regional Director. A photo frame consists of photos taken during the wreath laying will also be given to Sir Carlo F. Florendo.
Thank you, sirs. Please be seated.
May we invite everyone to please rise as we sing with great pride and honor the PRO 1 hymn, to be followed by the PNP hymn, PNP Lingkod ng Bayan.
Ilocos protect the home of the PNP. As we gather around the break, to the God we will sing, that's the PNP. Ilocos region, one mission and vision. Ilocos PNP, by the community. Ilocos region, one of the nation. Ilocos PNP, the best in the country. We're on a simple way. In hands of the leaders with the country going vain. Hand in hand, let's make all the love in me. The number one in this organization. I'm the Sinai of Ilocos protect the home of friendly PNP. As we gather around and pray to our God, we will sing, that's the PNP. Ilocos region, one mission and vision. Ilocos PNP, held by the community. Ilocos region, one of the nation. Ilocos PNP, the best in the country. Ilocos region, one mission and vision. Ilocos PNP, held by the community. Ilocos region, one of the nation. Ilocos PNP, the best in the country.
That concludes the 30th PNP Foundation Anniversary Celebration with Prosecutor Nonato Cesar R. Rojas.